What are the fundamental things that every business needs, no matter if we're talking about during great times or during crisis? We're going to get into 3 of the top areas that you should be focusing on every single day in this episode. You're not going to want to miss it. This is the Investor Mindset Podcast, and I'm Stephen Pesavento. And for as long as I can remember, I've been obsessed with understanding how we can think better, how we can be better, and how we can do better. And each episode, we explore lessons on motivation and mindset from the most successful real estate investors and entrepreneurs in the nation. All right, Mindsetters, welcome back. We've got a really phenomenal episode today, and we're going to be talking about the fundamentals. A couple fundamental things that you as an individual need to be doing every single day for your business's sake, for your sake, and for your family's sake. Let's get into it right now, right? So if we're talking about these 3 fundamentals, it's going to seem so simple, and honestly, the fundamentals are simple for a reason, right? We've got to get back to living and showing up in a way that is consistent and that we're doing those right things on a daily basis. And no matter what business you're in, you've got some fundamentals that are definitely key to making sure that business is going well. There's fundamentals to your health. There's fundamentals to your business. There's fundamentals to your family. These things are at the core, and sometimes as we start getting comfortable, we start forgetting about doing some of these. You know what I mean? You've been in that relationship, just a few years longer than any of the other ones, and you start to focus a little bit less time, on making sure that you're showing up and you're saying the right things. You start taking for granted the things that used to be the things that you used to reach for. Really thinking that the problems that you have now are the problems that you would have begged to have before. And so you think, hey, well, I've been in this business so long that I don't really want to deal with that kind of stuff anymore. I've grown past it. Well, now is an important time for us to get back to these fundamentals. So let me walk through a couple of them. And I'm going to start first with you. But first, the fundamentals of your health, the fundamentals of making sure that you are operating and being able to perform at peak performance, right? If we are going through major stressful time, if there's big changes in our business, if there's a lot of uncertainty in the world, then we need to make sure that we are cueing into what's going on right here inside, right? So, we need to be making sure that we're putting in the right food, that we're eating the right things on a regular basis. We need to think of food as fuel. Believe me, I'm a phenomenal cook. I love spending time in the kitchen and making rich food, making sugary food, making salty food, and just one of my favorite hobbies, just to be honest, is just going out to eat. It's just phenomenal to either go out and try new things and have that experience, or to make great things at home and be able to enjoy it with great people. And as important as that is, as important as that enjoyment, that fun, it's super critical that we're eating healthy. It's super critical that we think of food as fuel, that the food, the nutrition that's going into our body is actually going to fuel us forward, that it's actually going to keep our brain operating in the right way, that it's actually going to keep us feeling, healthy, focused and vibrant. It's so critical and it's so easily overlooked, right? The other big piece of health is making sure that our mind is in the right place. And there's a couple ways to do that. One key way to do that is through some therapy, some coaching, making sure that somebody from the outside is able to check you on those thoughts. And you can get those in the right place. We can sit down, we can journal, but of course, I'm going to encourage you, if you're not doing it, especially right now, sit down and breathe. Sit down and do a little bit of mindfulness, a little meditation practice, because it can be so unbelievably powerful, the results that you're going to end up seeing from that. And there's 2 big things that meditation really delivers to the people who do it on a regular basis, and you don't always feel it right away. But there are 2 things that you definitely need and you definitely want. And the first one is massive more focus, the ability to focus for longer on harder tasks, on things that are more stressful, and do that in an easier way. I mean, doesn't it seem like that's something that you want to do more of, to have that focus, to be able to sit down and, stay in the right state? The second big thing is emotional regulation, right? So we're talking about being able to sit down and focus on a task for longer, as well as we have this big benefit of being able to stay in a more constant emotional state. So we get stressed out less. If we do happen to go into one of those peak, anger or sadness or stressed out states, we're able to bring ourselves back to our baseline, to our center much more quickly. And I know for a fact that these are things that are really important to me, and I'm sure they're important to you. And one other thing that can really play well into our health and into our emotions is making sure that we're moving, that we're getting out and we're going on a run or doing some kind of heavy workout on a regular basis. I encourage you to work out and do exercise every single day. As human beings, we're meant to move. We're meant to go out and do these activities. But now that we're living these sedentary lives, we need to make sure that we're intentional, that we wake up with purpose. And that purpose is to go out and get that energy out. Get that energy out and get some of those endorphins, get that blood pumping, get that oxygen moving through our brain into the right place, right? So we got the fundamentals of health, right? There's a lot more there, but these are the key pieces that you must have down and you must be doing. So if you're not eating right, if you're not taking care of your emotional health through meditation or some other kind of practice, and you're not focused on movement, now is the time to plug into those three. They're absolutely critical, right? So we want to now cue in on some fundamentals in our business. What are fundamentals of business? Well, there's plenty of them, but three that I want to talk about right now is the fundamental of making sure that we're focused on bottom line revenue first and foremost, right? We can focus on the sexy numbers of making a lot of money, of making a lot of revenue, of having a lot of dollars come through our business, but if we're not focused on what that bottom line number comes out to, if we're not focused on true cash that comes into the bank account, the true profit, then we're going to be missing the opportunity of running a really healthy business. And when we end up in a crisis time, it's going to be even more important and even more apparent the problems that we're running in our business. So it's super critical that we focus on bottom line revenue. We can obviously make some adjustments to that to increase that number by reducing our expenses, by increasing our top line number. These are simple things that we can be doing and we should be doing. The second thing is I think we need to really understand what are our money-making activities. What are the activities that we can do on a daily or weekly basis that directly drive profit, that directly drive revenue in our business? We need to understand what activities our team members are doing and make sure that every single person in our company is tied directly to a money-making activity. Every job should be able to have one, and if they currently don't, let's figure out a way that we can attach their job directly to revenue, and it's the best way to make sure that their job is going to be secure for the long term and that you're going to really get the value from them in return. And the final thing, and this is, believe me, we could do a whole episode just on business fundamentals, but the final thing that I think is really important in good times or in crisis is that we step up as leaders. We have to remember that if we got a team of one person or two people on our team, or we've got a team of 20, that we need to be there to inspire, that we need to be there to lead, that we need to be there to step in to that position and say, hey, things are crazy right now. Things are going in the right direction. Things are the way that they are. And we're going to thrive despite the challenges that we're going to face. That we are going to fight the good fight. That here's our mission. This is why we're doing what we're doing. And everything that we do needs to come back to this mission. We need to step into some true leadership and really be able to deliver for our people. And the third fundamental that is so critical to surviving during crisis or thriving during successful times is our growth, our personal growth, that we're investing in ourselves, that we're investing both in our mind, our body, and our business, that we are setting ourselves up to continue to grow. And one way to do that is to make sure that we are investing in new skills, or that we're investing in bettering the skills that we have, right? We don't ever want to stop investing in ourselves and investing in learning these new skills. It's more important now in a crisis time than ever for us to sit down and say, hey, where am I weak and where am I strong? And what areas do I need to strengthen first in order for me to be ready for any battle that may come down the pipe or may be coming up for us right now. And the other big thing, the other big driver of growth, and I can't say it loud enough, is surrounding yourselves with other people who are doing what you want to do. Other mentors, other peers, other people in community who are driving and striving to do great things, because those people are going to set a new standard for you as an individual yourself, that they're going to be the reminder that, hey, no matter what happens, I'm going to keep fighting the fight, and my other fellow warriors on each side are going to keep fighting the fight, and therefore I can't give up. I know the mission. The mission is for me to grow. The mission is for me to create the life that I want. The mission is to create a business that fuels the kind of life that I want to live. And I'm surrounded by other people who are on that same path, that when I trip up, they can catch me. And when they trip up, I can catch them, and we can both inspire each other. So I think it's so critical that we're plugged into a community, and there's so many ways to do that, whether you're talking online, through video, through groups, or whether you're talking about masterminds that are in person, or events that you can go to on a regular basis, or even just once a year to make sure that you're plugged in. So, in summary, right, we need to be focused on our health. We need to be doing the right things for our body and our mind to make sure that we are prepared for whatever is yet to come. We need to be preparing our business for all the greatness that can come, making sure that we're strong and that our bottom line is our focus, and that everything we do is connected directly to that bottom line. And then third, we need to be focused on our growth. We need to be surrounding ourselves with other great people. We need to be stepping up in our skills, making sure that we're strengthening our strengths and working on the skills that are going to make us better and get where we need to go, and strengthening some of our weaknesses, the ones that are leaving us with a hurt foundation, with a weak foundation that isn't going to allow us to get where we want to go in the long run. So I encourage you guys, to go out and apply some of these things. And the way to do that is to sit down and ask yourself these questions for each of these. Where am I weak in this area? What am I doing really well? What can I continue doing really well? And go through on each of these areas for yourself, for your business, for your friends, for your family. Help someone else do the same. Pass this along, and I'll leave you as I always leave you. Go live a life worth inspiring others. You can do so today by applying what we learned yourself and being that inspiration.
Thank you for listening to the Investor Mindset Podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share it with a friend. Head over to theinvestormindset.com to join the Insider Club, where we share tools and strategies from the top investors and entrepreneurs on how to take it to the next level.